See, God always is going to use weak men, and he will make them strong in order to carry out his will.
Here, Paul Washer answers a common question. Can God really use someone weak and ordinary? He says yes. God does not call the strong or the talented. He calls the humble, broken, and dependent. Through our weakness, his power shines. God's purpose is accomplished not by us, but through him. Let's listen to this powerful truth from Paul Washer.
A great one to look to is, of course, David Brainerd, who served among the tribal peoples during the colonial period, during the time of Jonathan Edwards. His whole life, he was very weak physically and sickly. Robert Murray McShane is another one, weak and sickly. A man who spent a great deal of time in prison, a man who defied kings. Yet when you read his writings, it's almost at times too poetic for me. Samuel Rutherford. Just the reason I give you these examples is because, look, we always go to extremes. So we live in a society that's trying to make young men effeminate. So our reaction should not be that we're going to make them powerlifters and bodybuilders and Vikings. The thing I want you to see is that the man of God, I know a little brother, and he's a man, he's a pastor, and he's in, I can't even say where he is, but he and a few other brothers were taken in and put in prison for a few days for having church overseas. And so they got out, and I got a hold of them, and we're talking, and I said, "How did you get out?" And they just told us that when we get out, we can't meet for our churches anymore. And I said, "So what are you going to do?" He says, "We're going to meet for our churches." And I said, "How are you going to do it?" And he smiled in his broken English, and he goes, "We're just going to be more sneaky this time." And he doesn't weigh 90 pounds, probably soaking wet, and he struggles with anxiety, and yet he defies a world power to preach the gospel. And that, see, God always is going to use weak men, and he will make them strong in order to carry out his will. And that's what I want young men to see.